guys, welcome back to my channel. Simone here. So today I'm going to be following on from my last video, which was my top 10 standalones that I've ever read, and I'll link that video below if you haven't seen that already. So today I'm going to be talking about the top 5 standalones that I really want to read. However, I had 5 and then I thought of another one, so it's going to be 6 actually. So I hope that's okay. I own 4 of these, so I can obviously show you them, but the first 2 I will talk about are ones I don't own yet, but I plan on buying them fairly soon because I really want to read them. So the first one is An Abundance of Catherines by John Green, I believe. Now, I love John Green's writing. I've read Fault in Our Stars, Paper Towns, Looking for Alaska. I think that's all I've read of his. Yeah, but I really loved all of them. Now, An Abundance of Catherines, I don't know too much about, but what I do know is it's about a guy who basically only ever falls in love with girls named Catherine. I'm assuming they're all spelled the same. The Catherines, I have no idea. But I think there's like 20 of them or something. Anyway, and I think it's about that. I don't know too much else about it. Sounds really interesting. Also really silly, but I kind of love that anyway. Like I said, John Green's writing to me is amazing. I loved Looking for Alaska and I loved A Fault in Our Stars. I didn't love Paper Towns as much, it was okay. Yeah, I think that his writing is just something I love, so I'm hoping to enjoy this one too. The next one I really want to read that I don't own yet is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. This sounds like a great one because it supposedly features a lot of kind of like nostalgic, like retro game things and like just references from the kind of 80s and 90s, which I am very much looking forward to reading and trying to sort of figure them out. So I also think my boyfriend will really like this, so I'd like to read this and then pass it on to him if I can. But this basically, as far as I know, is about a world, I think it's like dystopian, but it's about a world where there's like, everyone lives in caravans that are on top of each other, I believe. Like, they've built them up as kind of like skyscrapers, I suppose, because there just isn't room for everybody. And so they built up as opposed to building out. And then the person, there's like a certain game or something, or like a world, I'm not entirely sure. Basically the person who owns that dies, and he leaves like a treasure chest, and then he leaves like a treasure chest. He leaves a treasure chest to decide who will kind of inherit his money, I guess, which is a lot of money. And it's about this kind of like quest that they all go on to determine that, I think. Again, I don't know a lot about this, but I've heard really good reviews, and a lot of people really love this, and it's kind of like a cult thing now, I think. So yeah, I really want to see what I think and kind of get behind the hype a little bit. Now for the 4 books I do own. The first one is one I mentioned in my latest summer book haul, and this is Attachments by Rainbow Rowell. Now, in my video talking about the standalones I love, I talked about how much I love Eleanor and Park, and strangely enough it says here, by the author of Eleanor and Park. I really want to read more of Rainbow Rowell's writing because I did love that. I love Fangirl, I loved Carry On, and so I really want to read Attachments. Now, I believe this is one of her adult books, I could be wrong, but this follows, it's set in 1999, and this follows a man called Lionel Lincoln, and it began with an L, and he essentially is monitoring emails and for this company that he works for, and the two of the colleagues that work at this company, Beth and Jennifer, are exchanging emails, and so he is essentially monitoring their emails, and then he falls in love with one of them. And this is supposed to be the kind of pre-first sight love, and then he obviously has to try and deal with the fact that he's never met her but he's already in love with her, so, and she doesn't know about this obviously. So it sounds interesting, the cover is amazing, it's by Rainbow Rowell, who I love. I feel like I can't go wrong, I honestly do. I can't wait. The next book I have is another dystopian, and that is 1984 by George Orwell. This is somewhat of a classic. In fact, it's from the Penguin Modern Classics style of books, I guess. I really enjoyed this cover. Now, this is kind of what Big Brother has been set off. This basically is about a world where cameras watch your every move, and everybody is kind of regulated by them. Like what you say and what you think is all regulated by Big Brother and the cameras. And so this sounds really interesting. I feel like we're kind of going that way a little bit. Sometimes I don't mind cameras and things because, you know, it's about safety and stuff, but sometimes I'm like, did you really need to know that I was there at that time, or certain things, and you think, well, that seems a bit much. So I'm really interested to find out how this was done. Also, I don't know when this was written. When was it written in? It was written, well, he died in 1950, so it was definitely written before that. 1949 this was written, so it's really interesting, I think, to see how real, like, and how true he was. So obviously this is 70 years later, which is slightly terrifying to think that. But I find it really interesting to find out, like, what he thought at the time and kind of how much of that has actually come true, I suppose. Yeah, so this definitely is a book that is on my list for very soon. The next one I have is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. Now, I love this cover. This cover is gorgeous. I don't have the one, I've seen a lot of people talk about, the one that's like illustrated. I don't have that one, so I don't know if I will miss out a lot from that, but either way, I'm looking forward to this. I've never read a Patrick Ness book, and I've heard such great things about his writing. Now I'm going to have to read the back to you, because basically every YouTube video I've ever seen of somebody talking about this book, they've been like, I don't really know how to explain it, or it's really hard to explain. So I thought what I'd do is just read the back, because it's probably easier that way. An extraordinary novel of love, loss and hope. Connor has the same dream every night, ever since his mother first fell ill, ever since she started the treatments that don't quite seem to be working. But tonight is different. Tonight when he wakes, there's a visitor at his window. It's ancient, elemental, a force of nature, and it wants the most dangerous thing of all from Connor. It wants the truth. It sounds great. I've heard it's a real emotional book, like you're gonna cry when you read this. And it's gorgeous. So it's also really not very long. I thought it would be longer. It's 230 pages, but the writing is quite big and like spaced out in it. So I feel like this is a book that really won't take me very long to read, and I really can't wait to find out what I think of Patrick Ness's writing. And this is kind of one of those books that everybody has talked about and it's really hyped up, so I want to see if it's worth the hype. And then the final standalone book I have that I really want to read really soon is Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon. This has just come out as a movie, which I have seen the trailers of, but I don't want to watch any more than that because I don't want to be spoiled. But basically this follows a girl named Maddie who is allergic to everything. Like, she has to stay inside her house because it's like sterilised, I suppose, and so she cannot go outside because something sets off an allergic reaction in her and she will basically die, I guess. Anyway, this guy named Ollie lives next door. He moves in next door, and suddenly there's a bit of a romance between them, and obviously how can she do that when she's allergic to everything? I cannot wait to read this. This cover is the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen. It's so beautiful. Nicola Yoon, I've seen a lot of interviews with her on YouTube, and she seems like such a personable person. I cannot like explain how when I talk to her she just seems like someone you want to be friends with. So I cannot wait to read her book. And again, this is a really short one. This is 300 pages, but again, it's not very big writing, so it's quite big writing, should I say. So this is one that I think I will zoom through, but I cannot wait to read it, and yeah, I'm excited. So these are the books that I really want to read soon, these 4 plus the other 2 that I mentioned. Let me know what standalones you're looking forward to reading, or if you're looking forward to reading any of the ones that I mentioned in this video or in my previous standalones video, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I shall see you in my next one. Bye guys!